All right, let's hop into this. Why don't we? It's going to be game number 2, of course, between the St. Clair Saints and DOV Defiant. Of course, St. Clair had themselves quite the convincing win there in game number 1. Looking to try to do this again and secure themselves their first amateur victory here in the Upsurge minor leagues. And Saints are going to be on red with, of course, Defiant in the blue this time, opting for the switch right off the bat. And actually, because they don't want to give Lazi the Kaisa, they're actually going to ban it away right away. They're going to continue to ban away the Anivia from Frez, and the Hecarim is going to be taken away from Active Force. Now, sure, the Hecarim may have been a bit more of a meta ban in this situation, just junglers don't, or people don't like dealing with that champion in the jungle, but at the same time we do see Active Force, that good old comfort pick, that classic Sejuani. I wasn't 100% sure how I felt about it when I first saw it, but he really proven me wrong in that first game. It was basically a part of almost every single elimination, every single kill in that game. It was absolutely all over the place. It was beautiful to see. The Olaf is going to be the first pick there for the side of the Defiant. Now, of course, with Kaisa off the table, it means we're going to see some different AD carries probably in this situation. And who else? Who else but Misfortune? If you want to continue that combo style that the Saints pulled off in that first game. Of course, Kaisa was always able to just dive in and then just start blasting everybody. But at least here with the Misfortune, of course, you've got that bullet time, massive AoE damage with that ultimate. And then Playmaker here from Yensfo, the Thresh. First time I'm going to see this champion come out for a long time. Good mixture of playmaking potential, but also being able to save Lazi or other teammates with that Lantern if necessary. Samira going to get picked out in this situation too. Rather popular AD carry in this situation. Just has so many options that it's absurd. The Gungeon's actually going to steal away the Orianna here from Frez. So Frez is going to have to dig into that champion pool just a little bit. Of course, earlier in the season, we did see him pick up things like a Victor and a Zoe. Bit of a mixed bag of results on those ones, though. Granted, it was up against York University. So, much different team nonetheless. And this one hurts a little bit, to say the least. Anytime I see Kubra not on a playmaker, it hurts a little bit. Granted, Kubra is going to be going full support basically here this time with the Shen. If that is, in fact, a top lane Shen. Because I don't think River Shen is a thing anymore. Granted, this is this kind of situation, too, where if Saints do want to try a different team composition, I mean, they're up a game. If they really wanted to, they probably could. But I don't think they want to play with their food, if you know what I'm saying. So, hoping that they're picking exactly what they need here. This game, we're going to see the Alistar get taken away. Of course, hooking an Alistar in the bot lane is basically useless. You don't want to go in on that. The Nunu got let through initially, but going to get taken away here for the 4th ban. Mordekaiser going to go down as well. But no Nunu for Active Force. Apparently Active Force's Nunu is broken, and we've seen it do rather successfully during the game on Saturday. That's who was up against, Worcester. Yeah, it did pretty solid up against Worcester Polytechnic. One more ban on the board. Who does the Defiant want to get rid of? They're just going to get rid of the Galio. Interesting ban, considering I don't think I've really seen Frez play Galio so far in the seasons, or even in the scrims prior to the season starting. This we've seen before, however. If this gets locked in, the Keen for Active Force. Seen it up against not York University, up against Worcester Polytechnic Institute on Saturday. Was rather successful. Very similar game to the Sejuani game, actually. I know the big takeaway I kept having was the fact that he was missing smites, but it was a very similar situation where he was constantly constantly making plays there for his team. Granted, he had a couple more kills for himself, but still able to help everybody out as well. We're going to see Wolfie pick up the gangplank for game number 2 here. Would probably be able to make Cooper's life a little bit difficult, at least early. And then in regards to the support, I know they hovered Braum a little bit earlier. They're going to stick to this Leona, which is always possible as well. He's going to get switched over to the Braum, actually. So, okay. Going to try and keep the Samira safe rather than try to make any sort of major early plays. I mean, granted, Braum could still make some early plays as well. Don't get me wrong. We managed to land the snowball or land a hit and then get a couple shots on the target to stun it. It's always plausible. The last thing on deck here is probably Frez's mid lane. Fish, fish, fish. We got the fizz coming out here for Frez, and this excites me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. The last time we saw it, it would have been in a scrim, actually. So you probably wouldn't have saw it unless you saw it on Lazzy's stream. Of course, the AD carry on our squad does stream his own, or stream team scrims on occasion. It was something I think I saw Frez pick up in that situation, or I've been saying situation a lot. Holy moly. Self-conscious commentary 101. We got this. Now this will be cool though. Looking forward to seeing Frez's Fizz and seeing how that one ends up going down. How well can he avoid the harassment from Orianna early? Can he be the one to actually dish it back himself if necessary? We'll have to find out very shortly here. We're about to get ready for game number 2. Just going to wait the delay before we hop into the swing of things. Of course, then I want to give the thank yous once again to the sponsors that make this all possible. Of course, Clair College, the Zuckman School of Business and Information Technology, EC Outlet, St. Clair College Alumni Association, and the St. Clair SRC. And of course, Tim Hortons. Thank you all for making the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team possible with your support. And of course, speaking of support, thank you to everybody tuning in to the stream, of course, whether it's your friend, family member, classmate, or you're just here to support your program and team. Always a pleasure seeing everybody here in the chat rooting on their squad. It's awesome to see. It's always one of those things. If you think about like how collegiate esports and esports in general just seems to be growing ever slowly but surely. And who'd have thought that I'd be here broadcasting to you guys basically 7 days a week one way or another. I am not complaining. Loving every bit of it. As my wife snarls in the background. I am so sorry. But anyway, let's get ready to hop into the game, of course. One other thing I do want to bring up while we wait for this delay to go down too is if you are are looking to go into college sometime soon, be sure to give us a look here. Of course, we're already recruiting for September 2021 for the games listed below. Of course, I know the new one that kind of pops out here on this list is Valorant. But if you are on the viewership side of things and you want to be on the players side of things, be sure to apply on our website below, of course, at stclairsaints.ca/join. Be sure to apply, and we will contact you via Discord if you're accepted. One of the nice things, of course, with esports at St. Clair, though, is that even if you do not end up making the squad itself, just the community in general is absolutely fantastic. Between the St. Clair Saints community and the esports club, kind of working together here and there to put on gatherings and whatnot. Always love it here. In fact, a little fun fact, I was able to finish my National Living Pokedex the other week because of people from the St. Clair Esports Club. So, get involved. We want to see you. But enough jibber jabber. We're just about ready to hop into game number 2. I'm kind of looking for a fight here. I want to see DOV Defiant kind of show us what's up here because they both ended up going for team fight compositions, but Saints just hit harder. So let's see what happens this time by where the Saints composition, it doesn't look as clear cut compared to what we saw last time. This one feels more like a pick composition compared to a team fight. And it's definitely a different style here. I know Coach Zeddy has been trying multiple styles with his team to try and figure out what suits them best. I mean, I'll tell you what, team fight looks good. But let's see what happens here with this pick comp. As we're just about time. Wait is almost over. Loading into the game. Slowly but surely. On the side of DOV on the Defiant side of things. But with the Orianna now being in Gunshin's hands, it's a bit of a reverse here for the Defiant, because now they're the ones with 2 players at least who are solid or can do a solid job at diving into the backline and setting up those shockwaves. So it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to take a look at as this game goes on. But there we go. Hopping on in. Game number 2 between St. Clair Saints and DOV Defiant here in the Upsurge Minor Leagues. Just about to get underway. Let's get into the game. With the Saints team composition being a little bit different, possibly pick-oriented, it could maybe lend itself over to a level 1 if you maybe let Kubra take the taunt and then have Mietzel on the hook early. But that is a bit of a commitment, so we'll have to see what the Saints end up doing here. Double line of scrimmage so far, and actually we do see Wixie charging in. Active Force going to find 2 as well. This is going to be a little bit painful here for the side of St. Clair. Frez is here, going to try and stop it. Here comes Gunshin. It looks like Frez took the troll pull to start off level 1, but he's going to be able to just slow the Defiant down ever so slightly. And we have double Defiant here. I don't know what the heck happened up there in the top. Let's switch that around. Oh, I don't. Wait. Of course, right now it is St. Clair up 1 in this situation. There we go. See, no matter how long you do this, sometimes you still get baited by tech. And meanwhile, speaking of getting baited, it looks like Lazzie's going to be the casualty here in the blue side on their jungle. But it might be a twofer if the DOV Defiant can manage it. Wolves are getting involved, and that's a double kill over to the bot lane. Fish bait on the Samira before a single minion's even been slayed in that bot lane. Finds himself a double kill. It's going to be absolutely brutal. Which is a little bit rough because I know Misfortune likes to poke, likes to harass in the early game. But you're definitely going to be trading at a disadvantage at this point, especially if Fishbait does end up backing. Right now, if they do just go back right away, it is going to be a bit of an even playing field. But whenever Fishbait does decide to back off, it is going to be hitting just that much harder. We do see Kubra actually managing to get aggressive here on the Shen, nearly taking down Wolfie. And this is kind of what I was worried about here in the mid lane. We do see Gunshin just constantly just poking down Frez slowly but surely, really making CSing for him an absolute nightmare. He's going to be able to at least get the caddy. Managed to secure that one. But yeah, you can see already 14-3. It's just constantly pushing Frez away. And Kubra looking aggressive. Going to have to flash right away. But actually, Active Force is here to maybe finish the job. One more shot would have done it, and it's not going to be the case. He's still level 2, and Wixie was actually there. So it may have been the reason why Active Force looked to dip and dodge out of there. Wixie on hot pursuit has a level advantage onto Active Force. He's not going to be long for this world. Wixie going to clean that one up for free. I can't even blame the start on team composition. It just feels like execution-wise here for St. Clair, it just keep getting themselves jumped on here. The DOV Defiant looking fantastic to start off this game. Mianzfo, a little aggressive start here. Keck going to be going down to about half of his health. Getting himself a little bit messed up there down in the bot lane. But of course, potions and cookies in hand. And they're trying to heal himself back up. And actually healing himself up rather quickly, so he'll be able to stay in lane, keep things going. And the benefit here for St. Clair is the fact that Fishbait has not gone back. Opted to stay for the minions right away. And Kubra, there is no flash right now onto Wolfie, but granted, nice little heal from Wolfie in the last second to be able to turn and burn a little bit onto Kubra, trade half of his health. And now Wixie's up here in the top lane, no flash available here for Kubra. Gonna try and trade out with Wolfie. Wolfie's just gonna bait him completely, and that is going to be the kill getting sent on over to Wolfie. Don't know if the Saints are just trying something different or what, but this is definitely a night and day difference. Teleport going to be used up top. Granted, Kubra's got to be a little bit careful. I don't think... Like, Wolfie would be able to tank anything. Absolutely not. But if Wixie was feeling aggressive, they probably could have looked for something. Okay, this is the point in the game now where Frez can actually deal some damage back, and some pretty bursty damage at that. Some decent minion damage coming out actually here. Frez baiting the auto attack and just at least making the trade go even, thanks to those range minions. Just a matter of who gets 6. It looks like it's going to be Gungeon getting 6 first. So for a little bit, Frez has to be careful. Granted, nice thing about Fizz in this situation, the one ability, the troll pull as I called it, where he hops onto his trident and flips over, will get him out of a shockwave. Won't take any damage if he times it right. I'll also be even turn it aggressive and use it for damage after the fact too, if he does line it up correctly. I'm sure he'll feel much more comfortable once he does hit level 6. They're pinging towards this mid lane. We do see Active Force on the Kayn, possibly making his way over. We would have to be very careful because Wixie on the Olaf is somewhat nearby as well. A little bit of trading up here in the favor of Kubra so far until that last parlay comes out. But after a rather rough execution for St. Clair in that first initial minutes of this second game, it has quieted down. Granted, the Saints really need it to quiet down in this situation. Wolfie versus Kubra up here in the top lane, though, could be a little bit rough. Ultimate in hand. Wolfie is going to take care of that solo kill. Gungeon and Active Force here in the mid lane, and they're going to at least trade one over 1-for-1, but then the dragon goes over into the pockets of the DOV Defiant. Yeah, so a rough one-on-one play there for Kubra. Tried to make something happen. You can tell these supportive tanks just aren't necessarily clicking as well as the playmaking bruisers or the playmaking tanks. Having a bit of a rougher time here up against this Gangplank. Meanwhile, Frez and Active Force. Sure, Gungeon was basically harassing Frez this entire time, but at least as soon as Frez gets a tiny bit of backup, the kill is basically guaranteed as long as they land everything. Of course, Orianna doesn't necessarily have any quick movement abilities. Yes, she can use her dissonance, which of course one of her damaging abilities does give you a movement speed boost, but there is no jump of any sort on Orianna. So if Frez throws the shark at you and you get hit, well, I'm sorry, you're just out of luck. Okay, good little combo here coming out between Lassie and Mianzfo. Gonna be smited on over. Unstoppable, hanging on for dear life. Gets through the ignite of Mianzfo, and somehow Wixie's gonna be able to get out of that with his life. It's definitely frustrating to deal with here for Kubra, but he does have Active Force right around the corner, coming in hot. Wolfie possibly in a position to make the 1v2 happen. Can he deal with Active Force, however? You do see him trying to set up some barrels to try and make the play. Kubra trying to hang on for dear life, down to pretty low HP. Active Force about less than half, taking some minion damage. Could get turned on here if he's not careful, but actually there is the shutdown. Active Force going to pop the ultimate just to secure it, and he's actually going to go 1-for-1. I think there is either... Was that Ignite? Oh, there's no Ignite up there in the top lane. That's the passive damage from Gangplank coming in clutch. Brez going to be coming in alongside Kubra. Shockwave not going to find a target. The troll pull coming in clutch here from Frez. Can they do the 2v1 here with extremely low HP? And Kubra hang on. He does try to use some of these fruit on the ground just to top him off just a little bit longer. Frez one more shot, and they're going to find themselves on the better half of this engagement. Lassie now down in the back lane, taking a lot of heat, but only actually taking about a quarter of his HP. Not bad considering the amount of resources invested here on that bot side for the Defiant. Of course, Saints were not able to necessarily get aggressive on the return there. Lassie, level 7 ultimate is learned rather, but did not have it off of cooldown after that engagement that we saw a little bit earlier in the jungle. Did not turn that on them. Nice little double up right there, right into Keck. But given the harassment so far in this mid lane, it's been looking like a rather good game here for Fresh so far. And it looks like Wixie could be in for a world of hurt. See a lot of damage coming out here from Frez. It's going to be ultimate coming out here from Wolfie to rain some damage from above. But it's going to just kind of tickle the squad, not really do a whole heck of a lot. I think it's going to be able to walk out of there just fine. That's going to be another kill going over to the Saints, bringing it to their 5th one of the game. And Frez has to be careful though, because whenever he does use that troll pull, start flipping on the trident. Whenever he uses that, it's got a little bit of a cooldown to it. He's got to watch out not to get caught. We're going to see the bunny rather, Shark Bunny come out to play, but sure enough, it's going to be Gungeon trying to do the 1v2, but it's going to be for naught in this situation. Here comes Active Force. Finish him off. Nice little play there in the mid lane. And Saints, after a very rough-looking start to this game, have been fighting their way back, and they've got this within 500 gold now from what was basically a 3,000 gold lead. Okay, with Frez going back, it did give the opening here for Wixie to try and push his turret at least a little bit, but Mansfield actually made a trip from the bot lane. Come say hi to Wixie. Gonna force it, the ultimate, the Ragnarok coming out here from Wixie, gonna try and burst. It's gonna be the defensive wall coming out here for Miensfo. Active Force does not have an ultimate available. Keck has returned. That bullet time is going to do a tiny little bit of damage over to Gungeon, but at least making the Defiant think twice about going in after Active Force. The Saints have tied this up in regards to eliminations, are about 700 gold behind, and 700 gold behind, but we're looking at Dragon now. Pull this thing out of the pit and let's see if we can get this thing knocked down. Of course, the Defiant in the last game took the first 2 Dragons pretty much without a hitch, but at least for the start this time for the St. Clair squad, they're going to trade this out 1-for-1. Going to use a Lantern. Can they manage to make the play here? Looks like Fishbait is completely aware of this alongside Keck. Going to run back down to the turret. We do see around the corner Wixie going to go for his Krugs for now, but was around just in case. Saints do know from a ward that he is in fact there, so the aggression stops here. Let's go back, get items, and look to turn this around later on.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Yeah, so far the gold lead now for the DOV Defiant. It's basically just been farming being the main difference here in this spot, because over and over again, we've seen the mid lane, of course, still a little bit rough there for Frez, and then up in the top lane as well. Cooper just hitting 70 CS while Wolfie's Gangplank is right around that 100 mark, so falling behind a little bit in that regard. Also got to worry about the fish bait's double kill from earlier. And hello, Mansvo, where did you come from? Makes a play from bot lane. Shockwaves himself, not going to happen. Actiforce coming in for the, hey, it's okay, I helped. Takes that finishing blow. And Actiforce, 5 kills, leading the game so far. Might have been tired of making the, or being the playmaking jungler. Wants to be the carry jungler in this situation. Mansvo, flashing on over, warning shot, saying hi, and just getting back to lane. Because every most 2 kills that we see down on the bot lane, it is pretty much dead even in regards to CS. So Lassie keeping up with Fishbait constantly. Even the support's identical in regards to their CS numbers. A cheeky little shot there from Yanso. That might get turns, but we do also see Wixie in the mid lane getting turned on. Frez jumping on through, waiting to use the troll pull. Maybe a little bit too little too late now. That's a lot of AoE damage. Gunshin really put some massive value in that situation. The shutdown's going to go over to Wixie. Unfortunately, therefore, Actiforce and Frez, they were basically both going after the same target, squishing themselves together, and that just let Gunshin, even without using the shockwave, just do so much AoE damage to the point where Wixie, point blank with them, could just keep dropping the axe to the face. Only a painful time, nonetheless, there. Okay, Cooper under the turret, gonna get the taunt onto Wolfie, 1 extra little turret shot there. And what is happening down in this bot lane? A little bit of proxy farming maybe coming out here from Wixie. This is a very, very overconfident play here. Manspo gonna flash on over right into the bullet time. Wixie, I don't know what kind of play you're trying to set up there, bud, but that was a definitely awkward one. Shockwave going to land on 2, not doing that much damage. So Frez in the backline, chasing after Fishbait, going to get the shutdown on him. That's going to be rather brutal. Teleports coming in, both top laners showing up to the party. Gunshin extremely low on HP, going to be going down. Lassie going to find himself another kill here in this fight. 2 now on the board for him. Keck is extremely low as well. Frez has to be careful. That's a big chunk of AoE going across the St. Clair squad. Can they manage to get Keck? Yes, they can. And so going to hold him down into position and let Actiforce finish the job. Can he now find the finish onto Wolfie here? That's going to be the final possibility. A lot of low health bars on the side of St. Clair. Nobody above half health. Do they really want to test this? This is very scary, especially since none of this is hitting. Lassie is going to actually get picked up with the kill. And perfectly done there as Kubra is going to be the one actually tanking it, so he wasn't taking that much damage at all. And given the situation, Saints basically played that perfectly. I think that was a delayed ace there for St. Clair. They finally get themselves their first lead here in game number 2. Barely, but they got it. And for the Saints fans, the big feels good man moment here. Probably going over to Lassie, finding himself a double at least in that fight, giving him the boost he needed to deal with the 2 kills that Fishbait got earlier in the game. So finally back to an even footing and possibly being able to out-trade if this laning phase goes any further. But Dragon is up next on the table. A lot of Saints don't have ultimates. Actually, no, never mind. Majority of them do. But this just was not covered in the slightest. So right now, it's going to be Dragon number 2, Infernal, going over to the Defiant. And it looks like the trade is going to be the thing. You take the Dragon, I'll take the Herald in this situation as long as Actiforce can finish this off. That being said, Wixie, hot pursuit here onto the Herald. Unstoppable Ragnarok charging on through. Watch out for the smite. Who's going to be able to get this? Awkward spot here for Actiforce. It's going to force the Stand United here from Kubra 3. Who's going to be able to touch that Herald piece? I don't know who ended up getting it. think this one might have actually gone over. No, it did end up going over to Active Force, so he does steal it at least before going down. Not going to go to waste, but very sloppy. They may be able to trade this 1-for-1. Keck getting a little bit antsy, and the ultimate going down here from Frez does make contact. However, do they want to continue here? A very rough spot. Not very much utility here available. Would have been a 4-on-2 if they tried to turn that. Of course, Active Force and Kubra were either away or eliminated for a couple moments there. A little bit of a calm before the storm moment here, as we're just about to hit that 20-minute mark. Baron Nashor about to replace the Rift Herald momentarily. And that top turret going to be going down. A little bit of gold into the pocket now of the Defiant. Once again, going to take the lead. Once again, just barely. Very even game. Much different compared to what we've seen in game number 1, and that had a lot to do with the fantastic early game that we did see come out here from the DOV Defiant. Especially off like the first couple levels. The fact that they got 4 kills within, I think it was the first 5 minutes, was absolutely devastating. But they've had a hard time kind of hanging on to it here. You do see Gunshin, who was a massive factor on the Seraphine during game number 1, really having a hard time becoming a factor here in game 2. Currently sitting with 5 deaths. Does have the 1 kill and 3 assists, but I feel like where Gunshin stands right now is more of a CC bot and shielding bot more than a heavy damage nuker of sorts. Granted, as Orianna gets later and later into the game, gets more and more items, that will definitely change. But if you compare this to where Frez was at the 21-minute mark, Frez was chunking people at this point. Granted, had a lot more kills on the feed. In fact, he very well may have had the same kill line at this point. We do see him 4, 1, and 7. I feel like it was about the same thing at this point in the last game with his Orianna. Yeah, Baron being the only objective on the board, obviously with no real plays able to be made at this moment, definitely be risky to go for that. So right now just pushing some lanes out, farming up the best as possible. Do see both the 8 carries, Fishbait and Lassie, over the 200 marks in regards to their CS, farming up very nicely so far here in this game. And Dragon's probably going to be the next thing in sight here. As of right now, Defiant did manage to snag 2 Dragons, with only the 1 there on the side of St. Clair. Of course, St. Clair probably do not want to give this one up. We're going to back out right now and try to get there by the time it spawns. You do see actually Keck just pinging it out to his team, so they're definitely going to be setting up for this. If they do manage to get 1 more Dragon here, it's going to put it on Dragon's Soul Point. Of course, like I was saying before, you get 4 Dragons in League of Legends, and you get yourself a massive buff of some sort, depending on which dragon comes out to play. And we do see Frez kind of being the first one on site for the Saints. Meanwhile, Keck and Wixie already in position. He's going to make their way over. Kubra does have Stand United available, can arrive at the team fight at any point between Stand United and the teleport as well. Many options to get himself into this fight nice and quick. Yansfo maybe getting himself caught out here. This could be the right spot, though, if they can find themselves a bullet time to just whip it out here. Maybe wait for the Braum shield, and he is going to end up whipping the bullet time out. It's going to do a little bit of tickling damage more than anything. Yansfo going to be the first casualty here in this fight. Cooper 3 now in the fight as well, trying to tank as best as possible. The stopwatch coming out here from Frez going to go right through the shockwave. Nothing going to happen. Frez going nearly blow. Not going to go down quite yet, though. Gunshin has his number, though. Chases him down, takes him out. Lassie still was firing away, though, in the background. And actually, Activeforce tanking and doing a ton of damage at the same time. But a nice little sneak attack from Gunshin going to shut down Lassie in this situation. Wolfie, the last one standing here on the side of the Defiant. A nice little knock up there from Activeforce. Going to finish him down. That is a long fight, but that is going to be the ace going into the favor of St. Clair. Dead even in regards to gold now in this game. Can definitely go either way. We've finally seen the first little bit of brilliance there for Gunshin. May not have been necessarily doing like massive damage to everybody, but to the squishies, if he can land the shots onto Frez and Lassie, he can absolutely pop them. And we did see just that there, Lassie getting caught off guard after Gunshin turns it around and takes him down. Cooper going to go right back down to this turret, find himself another good couple hundred gold in this situation. And Wixie might be getting himself a little bit caught out here as he's going to be taken down nice and quick. Frizz. Wait, you get Fizz and Frez mixed up at the same time. I try to say them at the same time. Oh, good God. But okay, at the same time here with a gang all being in the jungle, they were easily able to turn that over on Wixie. With the jungler down, Baron Nashor is on the board for the taking. Pretty well stress-free here for Activeforce. Doesn't have Smite available, but at the same time, there's absolutely nobody on the side of the DOV Defiant here to challenge that. Gonna clean up this Baron nice and quick. And by nice and quick, I mean leave it to Activeforce to try and take the last couple hundred himself. Okay, there we go, Frez. Good guy, Frez.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I mean, it wasn't all for loss here. Gunshin does go down to the bot lane and secure himself the turret kill. At least try and compensate for a little bit there, but unfortunately there, Wix and, I think it was Wix and Wolfie just out of position, getting themselves caught out and giving away free kills. It would have been a 1v4, I believe, for the most part in that fight. Definitely a bad time all around. Lassie is going to be in a world of hurt here. Nice little stand united, though, to turn this thing. Lassie down to less than a quarter. Cooper 3 is going to try his damnedest to keep his key to carry alive. But, of course, pop the Ragnarok, and Olaf does not care about your crowd control. Drop an axe right on the face. Call it a day. They do trade 1 for 1, and now it's a shutdown gold actually going over into the pocket of Wixie. Our Saints with the lead, but not by a convincing enough margin that it can't be absolutely turned around on. Kind of game we like to see here, of course. This is just game 2 in a possible best-of-3 series. Or in a possible 3-game series, rather. Of course it's a best-of-3. Yeah. Yeah, with most of the Saints, if not all of them in this spot with Baron buff ready to go. Can probably see that mid turret finally get ready to go down here. This turret stood for a while, but it's probably not going to be much longer for this world. Granted, do have the 3 members from Defiant coming there to stop it. Wolfie going to be jumped on again here. Activeforce and Kubra are going to clean this up nice and quick. Activeforce just on an absolute tear here on this Kayn. First one to hit the double digits on the kill feed. Sitting there with 10. Absolutely brutal. Miensfo finds himself in a world of hurt, however. He might be able to turn this around with at least 1 extra kill, though. Gunshin just under turret versus 2, and Activeforce just does too much damage. Frez left up to himself up in that top lane. Going to take another turret down. And they're going to try and make the play here on the bot lane. Activeforce just healing so much. He's doing a ton of damage in the meantime, too. We do see the bullet time coming up from Lassie over in the corner as well. It's going to be Activeforce taking down the Samira. Fishbait goes down. And then Mienzfo barely goes down. No, that was Actiforce, I think, running away here. Actiforce running, but he's going to get caught out by the Gangplank. Lassie going to kite for his life, but here comes Kubra with the last second stand united. Keep him in the game, turn this around. Delayed ace. The 4v5 delayed ace, basically, with the way that one ended up. Frez, of course, was still up in that top lane. He's brought the minions with him. Just keeps on pushing forward. Gunshin, literally with one double up, nearly getting half of his HP chunked all by himself. Kubra wants to fight, but not going to fight on the steps of the fountain. That could be at least one of these Nexus turrets going down. Sure enough, that is going to be the case. One goes down, but they're probably going to turn around at this point, as everybody else on the side of DOV Defiant are respawning in this situation. And this mid turret, it stood for almost 30 minutes, but Mienzfo finally going to slay this thing. There it goes, finally. Longest I've seen a mid lane turret live in a long, long time. Of course, Dragon's next thing on board here. Mienzfo goes through, and a nice steal there coming out from Frez. Can he get to the lantern? He does get back out of dodge. Actiforce in the middle of everybody. This could be a perfect situation. Frez is on top of Gunshin. Gunshin can't do anything. Bullet time coming through. Lassie going to take down the Olaf. Goes down. Everyone's just going to line up here for Lassie. He's going to find himself the Quadra. Can they find Gunshin? I don't think there's going to be a way that Lassie's going to be able to get this. Never mind. They're going to feed this one over to him. Can they line it up, or is Gunshin going to be able to turn it and burn him? Actually, there comes Kubra. Going to get the taunt. One more shot. Give it to him. Pentakill, Lassie. And what a way to finish off the game. They have seen that one coming. It just lined up perfectly there for Lassie there in the pits. And, of course, with that freeze, that means that is game over. GG servers. But anyway, solid job there from St. Clair, finishing that one off after being behind rather considerably in the early game. Some plays, really some questionable positioning in the early game in the first couple levels, really throwing a lot of kills into the favor of the DOV Defiance. But slowly but surely throughout the game, they were able to keep themselves cool, keep themselves farming. Actiforce, again, pop off of a game as well for him with 11 kills and 15 assists. He was slaying everybody and everything once we got to that mid-game mark, and it was absolutely beautiful. Lassie came around, turned it around as well. For the longest time in that early game phase, was sitting there with absolutely no kills, like maybe 1 or 2 assists, turned it around in that mid and late game. 14 kills, 6 assists, and 3 deaths, especially with that pentakill at the end. The team set them up for that one. That Gunshin could have gone down a lot sooner than he did, but you got the highlight, so there you go. Props there for the Saints. But I do want to give DOV Defiant some massive credit, GG's to them, because the difference in play, the different team, the different style was definitely shaking St. Clair in their boots. They had the lead for a good period of that early game. Some solid picks nonetheless, but unfortunately for them, could not hold it. But with that, St. Clair going to take their first amateur scene victory here, as they are able to take this game 2-0. The first victory, of course, or making this season opener in the Upsurge Minor League. Really coming off with a bang. Fantastic job nonetheless. Of course, with that, let's say some thank yous, why don't we? First off, thank you to everybody for tuning in to this match. Friends, family, or classmates are just here to support your teams. Thank you for tuning in and supporting your esports scene. And big thank you, of course, to the sponsors that make this all possible. That, of course, being St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, St. Clair SRC, and the St. Clair College Alumni Association, EC Outlet, and the Zeckelman School of Business and IT. Definitely could not do it without your support, so thank you. Thank you all so much. But if you have not done so already, of course, this is just the first bit of action here for this week. There's still going to be plenty more right around the corner. If we hop into it, of course, the next matchups, we do have the Call of Duty Cold War kickoff tournament here for the CCL. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. Depending on how well we do there, we could possibly play on Friday as well. Day 2 of that tournament at 7 p.m. if that ends up going down. Then 7 p.m. Saturday, we do have the R6 Collegiate Championship. I think it's going to be week 3. I think our Saints are currently 1-1 so far in the season, looking to add another W to the board. And some Face It CSGO Collegiate League action on Sunday, the 31st at 5 p.m. Saints 1-1 in that situation too. The first week they got super close, making it 16-14, but they really turned it around in their game on last Sunday, or yesterday rather. And then by the time we make it back here on Monday, we're going to be right back here with some more Upsurge minor league action. Looking forward to that once again. And one thing I do want to mention for this Upsurge League as well is that, like, this may not necessarily be strictly a collegiate league, but there is some college teams in here, and I'm looking forward to when we do run into them. I think the next matchup for the Upsurge Minor League is up against the Wichita Wolves. So I don't know if that one is specifically a college team or not, but I'll definitely have the information hook up with you for next Monday. But for now, we still got the rest of the week to go through, so I'm going to call it a night here. Again, big thank you for everyone for tuning in. My name's Dan Banner, your producer and host here for the action. You can follow me at Mr. Danners on Twitter if you do wish. But for now, we'll call it a night. Thank you again, and I'll see you on Thursday for some Call of Duty.